Attorney General Alvin Bragg, who, let's be honest, I mean, everything these guys do, and yes, he is a Soros district attorney, that does matter. Everything he does to me is very calculated. I do believe that he probably intends to run for mayor of New York at some point. He definitely has that. I'm the big shot attorney, like, Giuliani, and I'm going to become, the next mayor, etc. So that's why he goes along with this ridiculous overreach of charging Luigi Mangione as a terrorist. And so this is what Mr. Bragg bragging about what he decided to do from an indictment standpoint.
Elaborate on the terrorism theory that backs up the work of the first account. What elements do you expect to be able to do?
Sure. So, in its most basic terms, this was a killing that it was intended to evoke terror.
How was that possible, Jen?
Well, look, I mean, they're obviously going to throw everything that they can because, again, we're dealing with state attorneys. So, like, these guys will throw shit against the wall and see what sticks. I still don't see how they're going to find 12 jurors that don't have bias against the insurance industry. I don't see how you can find 12 people that will actually convict this guy of anything. So they have to ramp it up as much as they can because they're going to end up with a lesser charge that's going to – I don't see how they're going to convict. But anyway.
I think they'll convict. But the terrorism charge is ridiculous. Sorry. Oh, yeah. The terrorism charge is ridiculous. That's clearly like, a publicity stunt. Basically, they're playing to the public. I mean, and I guess because like a rich white guy, I mean, if this was a poor black person, in a way, it's like because he's sort of a high profile, wealthy person, that's sort of intertwined with the claim that like, well, this is a terroristic act that got a lot of attention and so is designed to strike terror in people's hearts. But you could say that about anything. I mean, someone kills a woman, okay, or like, so now women is that, and
Well, let me ask you this: are they basically claiming that CEOs should be a protected class? Because that's what this is sort of. That's what this sort of. Like doing. And if you're going to do because as our friend Jordan Cheriton has pointed out, the guy who shot up the church in Charleston. And well, he wasn't charged as a terrorist.
I know. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I mean, this is clear. This is clearly murder, second-degree murder in New York.
But the terrorism, if it did, it's for a very small, specific class of people, and I'd like to see them But they truly do feel entitled to special protection. These people.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I think that's part of what's going on. Also, I do want to correct what I said. I wouldn't say I'm certain he'll be convicted because he's going to have an insanity defense, and I don't know what they'll.
I think it's going to be it's going to be fascinating to watch. I so wish I could go sit in on Roy Dyer. And I went to law school in Texas. I know we call it voir dire. It's weird. It's the only state in the country that does. So I'm just letting you know. In Texas, it's voir dire, and we spent an entire half of civil procedure discussing that it is voir dire, and they will kick your ass out if you voir dire. No. So, but I would love to see how they're going to select a jury for this case.
Well, we'll see what they end up doing. All right, let's continue.
And we've seen that reaction. The statutory elements we can go into, but its most basic term, that's what this is. This was not an ordinary killing, not to suggest that any killing is ordinary, but this was extraordinary, and the New York State Legislature has set out both the paths that we talk about, both the murder one and murder two, and this. We allege is certainly squarely within those statutes, which talk about intending to do exactly what we saw happen here.
And we've seen a real sustained increase since December 4th in concern, not just from CEOs, but from corporations broadly. And so going back to the DA's point, the intent to intimidate or coerce a civilian population, which is, of course, at the root of our state terrorism statute, is very much borne out in this reaction, and for good reason. We've had a torrent of online threats. We've had real-world activity that the police commissioner flagged, which is abhorrent, and it causes concern. So we have done a lot to work with corporate security partners with whom we partner on a daily basis in this city, at the city level, at the state level, trying to make sure that everybody has the best practices that they need, that they know where to flag not just general ambient concerns, but specific threats that they might be receiving that a few weeks ago they might have written off as just noise in the online environment, that they now take seriously. So these
they say that this is we're not just concerned about CEOs, we're concerned about corporations overall.
Yes.
They didn't say anything about, we're really concerned about the average citizens walking the streets in New York City.
Yeah.
They couldn't be more transparent in their buffoonery that this is all kowtowing to corporate special interests and nothing more.
Absolutely. This is like the ruling class is now kind of afraid. And in a way, I don't see this as totally disconnected from Palestine. Like the social contract has kind of been broken, and people are like, what? Like these ruling class people, they can just do anything. They can give bombs to blow children up in a foreign country for 15 months every day. And they, like there's just, and people are furious. And I'm not, of course, I'm never defending murder. Nobody should murder anybody.
Not that there's anything wrong.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
No,
but I think it's all kind of interconnected, like frustration with this class of, especially class in America, the ruling class, who just think they can do whatever they want.
I mean, this is something where it's hard to not be rooting for somebody who is so clearly punching up for a change, because normally we see everybody is constantly kicking down and punching sideways so much. And that's what the elites count on. And that's what the ruling class wants. That's what our media does, is it strives to keep everybody blaming others and kicking down. So like Republicans blame immigrants and Democrats blame Republicans, and it's all that. And at the end of the day, the people that are responsible are these people. I don't mean her in particular. I mean, she's whatever, but like
that class
those are the people, right? Like those are the people that respond. So to see somebody actually aiming their anger in the accurate direction, it is satisfying. It is satisfying. And I don't feel bad saying that I think it's satisfying. And I've said for a long time, I think it's going to get a lot more violent. I think that you don't get to be a country dropping bombs on people all over the world and then clutch your pearls when some CEO gets shot. You don't get to, all you do is make weapons and guns. That's all we do is sell weapons and warfare around the world, and then be so surprised that somebody would just get shot in broad daylight. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more.
Just the fact that Jessica Tisch, if anybody doesn't know, I happen to be very familiar with the Tisch family because they are the co-owners of the New York Football Giants. And
is that where the Tisch school comes from at NYU?
Correct.
Most likely.
So Steve Tisch is a multi-billionaire. Steve Tisch was actually one of the co-producers on Forrest Gump. So that shows you how far.
But wasn't she the sanitation person?
Yeah.
That's what it says.
That's how it is. This is how it is. The oligarchs have come out from the shadows, and they now want to run everything. And and it's worse with the kids, because very often the kids don't do anything to earn this. They have been completely given this world of endless amount of adulation and money and power, and they're just like, oh, I thought this is just how it is. And no one's going to tell them no, because the system is broken and everyone is looking for a cookie. So that's kind of how
it pleases me. I find it very pleasing. I couldn't care less. And I am so glad. I'm glad that they're scared. They should be scared. When you live on that, when you live on people's backs, you should be scared.
Well, no one checks them. And the fact of the matter is that they're just doubling down on their hypocrisy, their ignorance at this point. And it culminated earlier today with giving Mangione the most elaborate perp walk you've ever seen. Like, this is crazy. You made him look like a hero of sorts, as far as I can
tell. He is to people.
But we're going to have to tolerate what CNN has to say.
Murder through use of a firearm, a firearms offense as well for using a silencer and muffler in the alleged murder, as well as 2 stalking charges as well. His newly retained attorney, Karen Agnifilo, suggested that federal charges in this case would be overkill. I just want to note, you see New York City Mayor Eric Adams not far behind Mangione there. Again, a very large law enforcement presence. This was an incident that sparked worldwide attention as Mangione was able to get away soon after the murder clearly in what was a calculated move, as well as investigators finding key details in the search for him. That book bag in Central Park full of Monopoly money.
First of all, that was great. And this is why I'm convinced, Jenin, that he actually wanted to get caught. The fact that he left evidence behind of a bag full of Monopoly money, but on top of everything else, why is Mayor Adams walking like 5 steps behind him?
Why does it take this many people to bring in somebody who's shackled? And don't any of these people have something better to be doing with their time and energy, like maybe protecting people that are, maybe, I don't know. I'm just suggesting.
Hey, hold on a minute. That $6 billion a year, $6.5 billion a year annual budget of the NYPD has to go somewhere, Jen.
Yes,
I mean, come on,
like shackling someone who's clearly not a threat to somebody who isn't a CEO and killing people. So
I do want to say I don't. I understand why he's become the symbol that he has. I don't condone the murder. And he was a father to 2 children, whatever. Even if he wasn't, that's not really, pertinent. I don't think murder is ever great or ever the right. I understand how he's become a symbol, though, and also the hypocrisy of this class of people who are so outraged at this killing and who are enabling the killing of people in Gaza and other parts of the world every single day is just, it's disgusting. I don't know what other word to.
Well, we talked about it with Governor Shapiro when he made that statement in Pennsylvania about violence is not how we solve our problems, and then you can superimpose that over the video of him signing the bombs that were sent off to.
You're right, to
Ukraine. So for people like that to clutch their pearls and be like, violence isn't how we solve our problems. It's contraire. It's exactly how we solve our problems here.
It's the hypocrisy is horrendous, and I also again not condoning violence. Never condone violence, but it does feel kind of hopeless. This class of people, I don't know what you do to change it. And it's kind of one reason I've become more of a libertarian over the years from being quite left. And I really loved Bernie in 2016 before he got captured too. But I
did the best I could. I tried, and I was not able to succeed because the system is broken, and that is the way it is.
Poor Bernie. But I'm not someone who thinks that government cannot be good. I think there are other countries in the world where it does. Always has problems, but there are various countries I'd point to in Western Europe or Scandinavia where I think more or less things operate reasonably well. But it's so corrupt in this country, and I don't know how you fix it. That my best solution is just less, because they're all they do is take money to do infighting and kill people, and so I'd prefer to just have much less government.